definitely implemented the template.
Right on.
And it's amazing. I mean, I think it's just amazing in terms of how it just changes the conversation. You know,
That's great.
Sunday was really slow, and Scott and I were probably had a little too much to drink on Saturday, so we were.
That's honest, man. Yeah.
We probably didn't bring our A game, but it was such a beautiful day. I mean, that was probably one of the fewest visitors we've had to the store since we've opened. But we sold a bike. We still sold a bike, which was good. But yeah, we're moving along.
Nice. And where are you headed today? I mean, I know you're on the drive. Are you headed into the shop?
I'm actually on my way making a delivery.
All right.
Yeah, so doing a little multitasking.
Now I'm curious, is the delivery something that you offer? Are you doing it for free? Or did you let them know, hey, there's a value to this, but
Yes.
we'll do it for free? Yeah.
Yeah, that was another thing that we implemented this week.
Nice.
After our call, in terms of, you know, we were planning on doing it for free anyway, but we might as well at least make that part of the sales pitch. And this, in this particular case, I think it really made a difference. The guy came off of a rental, and you know, asked him about, you know, can you imagine riding this back at home? And he had been considering. He's been looking into it, and he asked about, well, how would we get it there? And we were like, well, we typically charge a couple $100 for delivery, but we would, if you buy today, we'll waive that. So
great.
Yeah, I think that really. I mean, and we were. They're opening up. They're opening up a store, a Pedego store, in his hometown in about a month.
Okay.
So we put the full court press on to make sure that he bought his bike from us.
Yeah, you know what? And I mean, the inevitability, and again, I don't work for Pedego, but the inevitability is that there's going to be more Pedego stores opening up within a reasonable geography. I think one of the things that Don, at least in the past, I heard him say that he'd like to compare himself to, you know, maybe wherever, I don't know if he wants to have as many locations as a Whole Foods, but wherever a Whole Foods would be, a Pedego store could be within the vicinity, because it kind of makes a lot of sense in terms of that kind of demographic, right?
Yes. Yes.
So, you know, wherever there's a bike shop is one thing, but where there's a Whole Foods, it really does, you know, that's a different type of clientele, but that's a clientele that would definitely serve us well.
Yes.
Right on.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad that you had a great weekend, and I'm glad you're out on delivery. Rich, can you hear me?
I mean, I'm back.
Right on, man. How was the weekend?
Saturday was great. We sold 2 bikes. Really strong rentals. So right now we're at, so after yesterday, we were 24 days of operation, and we have sold 20 bikes.
Nice. That's awesome.
So it's been a little hit or miss on rentals. Sunday, I know Pat was saying was slow, and yesterday it was actually slower than I expected. Mondays were normally pretty busy.
Okay.
But we didn't have that much activity yesterday. We do have a bunch of rentals slotted for today and tomorrow, so that should be strong. I did contact that gentleman who's interested in buying the bike that I reached out to you about with the PayPal.
Yeah.
Did not get approved. So then I had him go into the website to do the pre-approval through United Midwest,
Okay.
and he got shot down there too.
What about, is Affirm an option for you? Have you heard of Affirm?
No, we have not had any contact with the firm. The only, your PayPal and United Midwest are the only two financing options that we're aware of.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's it. I know that Affirm is another option, and yeah, usually off of the website is pretty they're pretty lenient. So
So for him not to get that as a pre-approval at United Midwest, then, you know, until they do a deeper dive, that certainly concerns me. And so at this point, I'm probably going to talk to him today. He'd been tossing around the idea of paying it in full and financing it. And so at this point, I'm just going to let him know that, you know, we're going to need payment in full.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. The other alternative, and I've done this in my career when I had my stores, was, hey, we'll let you pay for it, you know, in installments, but we're not giving it to you until it's fully paid. So in other words, you know, like, you can pay me in pieces, but this bike, or in my world, it was, you know, my equipment would not leave, you know, it was like a layaway plan.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, if this guy was he's another guy that we talked to about the delivery option and made that part of the deal. So he's about 100 miles away. So it's certainly not somebody I feel comfortable about being in our backyard that we could, you know, go confiscate the bike, so to speak. So
I don't dismiss that at all.
so you know, again, at this point, you know, I'm not, you know, I'll check into this Affirm maybe for future reference. But if this guy doesn't get approved from United Midwest, who doesn't seem who seems to be relatively lenient in the pre-approval,
Yeah.
then I'm not going to keep.
Yeah, the last thing that we want is to, you know, hey, I mean, you know, one of the things that I think a lot of us that are involved in retail is we want to help people.
Right.
We don't want to get caught up in being people pleasers so much so that it costs us money, because there's nothing like, you know, taking a check over to the bank. Oh yeah, the check's good. Yeah, okay, great. Money's got to be in the account before I can let you leave with the product. That's it. And, you know, Rich, you've offered, you know, two alternatives. PayPal is actually very lenient. I have had a couple of times where there's been clients that unfortunately didn't get approved. You know, we're not, you know, we're not we're not a charity. We're not a benevolency organization. You've got to be profitable to be able to move this thing forward. And, you know, these bikes have an incredible value, and if they really desire it, they'll come up with a way. And that's just the reality of it. So, but I'm glad to hear that you guys are hitting good numbers. I mean, 20 in 24 days is awesome for a brand new store. So congratulations, guys. So as we're all getting caffeinated, are there any questions? I want to do a quick review of the notes, so I'll walk around with my laptop here. Any questions before I jump in, or anything, any big wins that anybody wants to share from since last week? You got to celebrate all wins. That's so. I'm really stoked to hear that you guys are at 20 out of 24. So I'm going to unplug my laptop so I can walk around, and I'm just going to go. So the way that I do a review is back when I used to do this live in stores or on stages and whatnot, after we would take a break, it doesn't matter what the order is. The part of accelerated learning is we just want to be able to get this stuff into your brain so that you can access it, and whatever you need at that appropriate time is what matters. So I'm just going to go over some stuff. It's going to take about 5 minutes, and then we'll jump in. So last week we talked about the importance of being able to put your service up, a price point up on your wall, putting up, you know, like here's our service rate, and then our local people that buy from us, they get the VIP rate. I talked to you about playing your A game. playing your A game being acknowledge people that come in to the store. The other thing that playing your A game, and I'll add this word, is that remember A for authority. You are the authority. The other thing about playing your A game is highest energy wins. There's a great book called The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, and one of the agreements that you have to make to yourself is that I'm going to play my best. Even if your best isn't always the same every day, always do your best. And if you don't have high energy, these bikes don't sell themselves. Like I told you before, we think that they sell themselves, but the reality is you got to get butts on bikes to make it happen. And so, butts on bikes, critical component, right? You got to get the Bob. More butts on bikes. You know what? Just for fun, come with me. Take them outside. If you ask somebody, do you want to test ride? They're going to tell you no, and we want to avoid no at all costs, right? So you got to believe in what you're doing. You got to have it's power of belief, power in the product. Caroline, if you're there, talk to you about mastering your social content and putting it out there on all of your different channels. YouTube channel up, start using it. Again, your target that you told me is $100,000 a month. What's your why? What is the why behind everybody that's on this call? Well, it's family. There's ownership within that. It's a new challenge, and it's not corporate. Great opportunity. There's great money to be made. Great impact that you can make on people's lives. Good balance between work and life, and you're making a difference. And ultimately, here's the big one. It's fun. Just for fun, man. Just for fun. Come with me. So yeah, now pass out on the delivery. So you're offering, right, this value of here's where we are, but seeing that you're out here, we'll throw in the delivery, but there's a $300 value to that. That's great. That's great. What we're doing during the training, and we're going to hop into this circle represents your comfort zone. This is where most of us are every day. We don't step out of this circle to get to, you'll notice there's happy faces and money, right? When you step out of your comfort zone, you step into the money zone. And we're going to do some stuff today that's going to be a little bit out of people's comfort zones. You ready, Debbie? Good. Excellent. I asked you guys, who's your customer, right? So your customer has, some physical limitations. They're older demographic at around the 55 average age range. They're mostly couples. They're wealthy, affluent. They'll have health issues like ankles, knees, hips, spine, heart, lungs, something. There's locals that have second homes. Their average income, $200,000 a year, and they're negotiators. We're going to talk about that today for sure. You also have the renter, who's a vacationer, and they're looking for fun. They're a little bit younger. They want action. They want entertainment. And then you gave me your rental costs. Why you guys? Why Pedego Cape May? Because of the service, because of the brand, because you're pampering your people. You're providing an incredible customer experience that you're out to delight the customer, because the people that are coming to see you, they're there to buy. And remember, you're the trusted advisor. And then we went over the statistics of typically a store on first visit sales is about a 5 out of 100, which means 95 people will walk on the first visit. So follow-up is critically important. We're going to make sure we do some lead cycles onboarding on this call as well. And then, test riding, most people tell me that roughly half of the people that come in actually get a butt on a bike. Well, we know if we get more bobs, we're going to get more sales. So if you bump up this number by measuring your metrics, kids, as long as you're measuring your metrics, you'll know that, hey, if I get more test rides, then I get more sales on the first visit. And that's the critical component. A couple other things that we went over. The importance of having a template, because people don't buy what you sell, they buy why you sell it. I mentioned the importance of best, better, good. Always show the first product that you show is the one that you're going to have the most enthusiasm on, right? So show this one first, because if you try to go, this is the entry level, and then you got to get even more excited and even more excited, it's ass backwards. If you go here and you tell people what they lose when they step down, people don't like to lose things, right? So this is your best option. And you know what? Just for fun, give it a try. I'm not asking you to buy it. I'm asking you just to try it and give them a choice, either or, right? So it's minimum either or, maximum best, better, good. And then we started getting into the importance of blended margin on your invoice. And what is your realm of possibility if you're going to have somebody ask you for a deal, which, you know, again, our customer, which we talked about, who's your customer, they love to negotiate. And so if that's the case, you're going to hear the words, hey, what kind of deal can you give me? And then what you're going to say is, hey, I can appreciate that you're looking for a good deal. What exactly did you have in mind? And I'm not suggesting that you're giving anybody a discount, but at least you're prepared to figure out what the expectation is. Because in retail, I can tell you what, well, in life in general, one of my mentors would say, Joe, an expectation is a resentment in hiding. Somebody has, if they have an expectation and you don't fulfill that, they're going to resent you for it. So I'm going to look at my notes real quick to see, based on everything that we've covered, and I'm going to ask that, so now that I know where we are, going to get into the quote. Did you guys happen to do the exercise? First of all, I'm just looking at your 4 quadrants here. Did you happen to put together, or has anybody been given the task to put the service rates up or create some kind of mini map to put it up on the wall?
I will be working on that.
Okay. And I'm going to lay the hammer down here, Rich. By when do you want to have that done by, so that everybody knows we're going to keep you accountable to it?
Well, we already got the service rates for the areas around us.
Okay. Excellent. So all you got to do is just put up the chart, like basically, whether it's Chloroplast or a little mini poster, you can get that done at a UPS store or whatever. What's the average rate?
It's basically for a tune-up. Nobody had an hourly rate. Everybody just gave the rate for a tune-up, which ranged from 35 to 80. Now these are conventional bike stores. The nearest Pedego store, which is in north of us, they charge, I think, $115 for a tune-up. Now it's like $20 less for VIP.
Which location was that? Is that
Spring Lake?
It is Spring Lake. Okay. Okay. Excellent. All right. That's great. Has everybody, Rich, you were sent the links over, for the lead cycles links for your phones and laptops. Has everybody put them, anybody who's on the sales floor, has everybody put these onto your phones?
No, I don't think I've sent it, but I don't think we haven't done that yet, Joe. I got to be honest with you.
Okay. So, in the email instead of us taking the time right now to do it, if I could just put it out there that if everybody has at least the test ride waiver, just the test ride waiver is all you need on your phone. Everything else can be either put on an iPad or the desktop at the store. But the salespeople that are going to be dealing with customers need to have your test ride waiver on your phone. So it'll look like that icon right there. So that way, when somebody, you go, again, let's just review the template. Somebody walks in the door, hey, hello, fun, be with you in a quick moment. After about 5 to 10 seconds, so first time in the store, and you're going to click people in, and they say, yeah, and, oh, awesome, so how do you hear about us? Oh, I saw something on Instagram about you guys. Terrific, you mark down Instagram. You ever ride a Pedego before? Highest energy wins. When they say no, you go, no? Awesome, just for fun, come with me. Walk them out. You go first. You downshift the bike. You come back. You only go 20 yards or less. Just a couple of pedal strokes, just to let them feel what pedal assist will be like. And then you come back and you go, okay, it's your turn. By the way, and then you stand in front of the actual bike. You literally place yourself in front of the handlebars with the hands on the brakes. And you go, you know what? Just before you take off, I just got to get you, and you click the button, and I just got to get you to fill this out. It's a test ride waiver. We need you to be responsible for yourself. And that's the words that I love to use. We just need you to be responsible for yourself. And then on your own phone, you don't give them your phone. Hold your phone. What's your first name? And they'll say, oh, it's Rich. hey, Rich, nice to meet you. Now, if you're shaking hands, COVID, maybe not. Hey, Rich, nice to meet you. Elbow, great. Last name, phone number, email, and then you can say touch here, or I'll do it for you. Put the phone away. You're done. The follow-up starts. Okay, that's it. Now you've captured everything that matters. So in the email that I sent you, Rich, there is a video that shows you how to place that link as an icon on your phone, because it's not available in the App Store. It's a cloud-based service, but again, it looks like an app. That's all that matters. And this way on Thursday when we get together, I want to be able to see some of you practice it. I want to see you touch the button. I want to make sure it works. And
I will do that today, and I'll make sure I do all the test slides that way today, and then I can go over it with everybody.
Right on. It's just a little bit of practice, a little. Sure. That being the case, that's the important part about the template. Follow up early. I mean, ultimately, you're going to get more likes, and you're going to be able to get more first visit sales. That's an inevitable reality.
No, we can't. I have a hard time hearing you because I think that phone is that phone.
I'll mute it. How's that?
Nice. Now you're fine.
Okay. Let me take a sip of this.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, no sweat. So, like I was just saying, the importance of being able to get the follow-up early, and that's the beauty of that tool. As long as we get that icon on your phone and you make this part of your process, you do the name capture, and then you just get right back into your questions. So we also went over, after they do the mini spin, you're going to cut to the chase. They ride, they come back, and if they're excited, you go, great, do you want to take it? Debbie, do you remember how many times you're going to hear no before you get a yes, typically? You get you to click unmute. There you go. Try that again.
Do I remember how many times? 3?
That's all right. Good guess. It's actually 5. So typically,
okay.
and in one store just recently, they said, yeah, we typically hear it 9 times. They were actually counting it. So again, my point of saying this is that, you're going to hear no, and no just means no for now. Joe, have you heard that before in retail?
Many times.
Yeah, right? No just means no for now. So if they say no, what do you think, what's missing? They just need more information. That's it. They just need a little bit more detail. So I'm going back to my notes, and we've got a target for the growth. We talked about the template, which we're going to practice a little bit. We talked about how you welcome somebody so that you can engage in a conversation, but you're not bursting their bubble. Now, I know that in some cultures, we're in an interesting time right now because we're blending all these cultures together wherever, people from Asia, for example, like they don't have a personal bubble, right? I've got friends of mine that their ancestry is from India. Like, not only do they not have a personal bubble, like they'll come talk to you right up to you like this. They love to negotiate. Part of their, and they've told me this. They said, "Oh, Joe, it's part of our culture. We'll show up at 5:59 on a Saturday, on purpose. They know that you're leaving at 6, and they'll show up at 5:59 and they'll hammer, and get the discount. When meanwhile, they know that you just want to leave, but they're doing that on purpose to be able to get the best price. You've got to know going in. I mean, there's strategies where you just got to go, aha, that's why they're here. It's 5:59. Go figure. So Yeah, my friend Shova, she was telling me this. It's like, oh yeah, my dad's a classic. He'll show up like right before you're locking the door and he'll open it. Hey! So just FYI, be prepared. Getting the metrics, absolutely important. Cutting to the chase, leaving them alone. Again, part of my thing is, and I'm going to ask you this because I'm not in the store. When the store is open for business, do you have music on?
Most times, yes.
Excellent. So, and this is, again, if I remember correctly, Caroline is 24 years old. Caroline, you can give me the thumbs up on that.
Yes.
Like you just put up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, no, Caroline, what's important, for example, is if you're in the store, you've got to look at, again, music-wise, you've got to look at what is the customer wanting to listen to? Like who our customer is, 55, affluent, right? What do they want to listen to? Not what do you want to listen to? And it's important because, these auditory nerves that we have, music can really influence people's mood. I've gone into stores and I have literally no problem with, listening to death metal, but I can tell you that the majority of our target audience, and I'm not suggesting, Caroline, that you're a death metal fan. I don't know you very well. However, I've gone into stores where people, like literally the staff are listening to death metal in a Pedego store, and I'm going, guys, really? But putting music on that people like to listen to is going to be critically important. And again, think of who your customer is, not what you personally like. If you can find a blend of the two, even better. Because obviously, we want to have happy, feel good music. But here's the other thing that I'm mentioning, the music piece. Music will actually play a role of camouflage, especially for couples. Because oftentimes, when you're a couple of people and you don't want to have that sales guy hanging around who's, listening to all of your conversations, right? So when you've got music playing, one of the things that I've done oftentimes in my career, people will come into the store, they've gone for a ride, and then, you can see that they want to chat about it and make sure the music's on. And I'll say, you know what? I'm just going to go check to see if my desk is still there. I'll be right back. Right? Silly joke, but I mean, it got people a chuckle every time. And I would just get out of the way. And that's so important for everybody to understand. Oftentimes, people want to leave the store because they just want to go and think about it. So if the music's on and you go, you know what, you guys have it, and the law of reciprocation is even better. Here's a bottle of water, or can I make you a cup of coffee? I don't know if you have a little seating area. A lot of the stores will have that, like just an area for 2 or 3 little chairs. And here, have a cup of coffee, put something in the Keurig or whatever it is that you make for coffee. And the law of reciprocation is when you give them a little something, they'll come back. There's a couple of Pedego stores that they actually serve beer or wine. They give it away, right? So because they're not charging for it. So there's one store where in the mezzanine area, they've got this little wine bar, and people come in after a couple of rides, and then they go, here, come on up, and they start pouring wine. And I'll tell you what, that particular affluent client who starts to feel, at home, and yeah, you know what, and they leave them alone up in this particular store has a mezzanine level. So yeah, they leave them alone upstairs, and then they go back downstairs and deal with other people, and people are just swirling a glass of wine. I'll tell you what, it's a classic move, because now you're giving them something of value. And the law of reciprocation meaning is, I give you something, you're wanting to give me something back, and it's business. Did I mention to you guys that you could talk to some local businesses or local coffee shops, and you can actually pre-purchase, $50 worth of coffee ahead of time, and then create a ticket where it's like, hey, you know what? Just bring this over there, and the coffees are on us. So if they don't want to think about it in the store, tell people to leave. And go ahead and just do me a favor when you let me know if you decide what you decide either way. 9 times out of 10, people will go because that way, if they're not having the coffee in store, if you don't have the space for it, they're going to go sit down. They're going to sit down with their coffees and they're going to go like this. They're going to look at each other and say, "So we doing this?" Yeah. And then they're going to drink their coffee because now they don't have the salesperson who's hanging around listening to every word, right? So they just leave. You're giving them, you're literally giving them permission to go think about it, but you don't want them going home. So don't go for a drive over to Starbucks. I mean, hopefully there's something that's, within vicinity where they could walk over. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah. I think we do a pretty good job of, we always have waters and sodas out for everybody. We put a cooler out every day and make sure we're always offering drinks. We do not have a great place for people to really sit down, but maybe what we should do is right across the street from us, we have a restaurant. Maybe what we should do is get like drink tickets.
Yeah.
So they can go get a cocktail.
It's when you're thinking that it's like, especially if it's a couple and they're going to buy a couple of bikes. I mean, you're looking at anywhere between $6,000 to $10,000. I mean, that's you can expect that for sure. Yeah. So take that to the bank.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. Especially if they're drinking. Maybe we should give them like 5 drink tickets each.
By the sounds of things, that Pat said he was a little sore on Sunday, so I don't know if Scott and Pat had a little too much on Saturday.
That's pretty much a daily occurrence for the Benjamins.
Oh!
I mean that's 2 bottles of wine a night, Benjamin. Yeah.
Yeah, the Benjamins like to drink their wine.
Nice. All right. I'm not starting anything. Let's just keep going. So that's the whole thing about leaving them alone. The next piece that we talked about briefly, and I don't know if we went over this, but I know I sent you copies of. I sent you the examples of quotes that I love the way that Pedego San Diego is using them. And what do you currently have for accessories up on the wall?
So we have a lot of helmets.
Yeah.
A variety of bags. We have a variety of baskets. Some of this stuff has been difficult to get from Pedego because they're out of stock. So we've been trying to get creative and looking at other sites to bring in other accessories. A few different lock options, some seat options, pedal options, grip options, 3 different types of cell phone holders, mirrors, caddy charger. We've made our own shirts and hats, basket liners, aftershocks, which is the headphones actually that I'm wearing right now.
Okay. Yeah.
Sunglasses, watches, masks. We don't have pumps. I know Rich Spizzato was looking at pumps this weekend, says he can't find anything right now. Magnets. We have some coolers that you can attach to your bikes. I'm supposed to have a conversation with Burley, hopefully later today, about getting some of their stuff in, some of their kid and pet carriers, as well as other cargo carriers. We also have waters and soda and stuff that you can buy. Am I missing anything, guys?
Joe, go ahead and unmute yourself. Go ahead.
Yeah, water bottle holders.
Oh yeah, we got the loony bins.
Right on. So one of the things that I'm going to encourage you to do with maybe 2 of the bikes that you have in the store is you'll have the stock model out of the box, and then you'll have don't create your own custom deluxe version that you won't find in another Pedego store. So the example that I'll give you is there's stores that have taken the Ridge Rider, which is, you know, it's a beautiful bike. It's a great looking frame. But instead of having the knobby tires on it, they'll change the tires from a mountain bike tire to a slick. They'll change the handlebar, the stem, the stem, and they'll put a riser stem on it. They'll change the classic handlebars from a mountain bike handlebar to a Metro bar. They'll add the phone holder. They'll put a bell on it. They'll put a light on it. Then they'll put a suspension seat post, connect suspension seat post on it with a different saddle, right? They'll put fenders, a rack. They'll change the pedals. They'll add pannier bags. You see, so it's the same bike, but now you've added so many different options that it doesn't even look like the same bike anymore. And the point of it is that now you've got something that's so unique. I've heard people call it the Ridge Rider Urban Assault Edition because they take the mountain bike tires off and they put the slicks on it. So you can still have a front suspension with a, connect seat post. Well, it's not rear suspension, but it gives you suspension for your lower back, right? Again, coming back to who's your customer, they've got health issues. So when you give somebody a riser stem, so it puts them from this position into a more of an upright position, you've got something that they can ride on where, again, the Ridge Rider is a stiff bike at the rear end. It's a hardtail. Well, now you add a little something. All of these things have value. And when you go best, better, good, right? The cool thing about this is that you show them this, and you go, yeah, you know what? I've got the exact same bike. Here's the baby brother version. It's the same bike, but this is what it comes looking like out of the box. So here's the bike fully loaded at, whatever, $47.95 or $49.95. But here it is, basic stock. It's $39.95.
Is it better, Joe? Because I think what we've tried to do is we've tried to take every accessory that we have and put them on different bikes. So one bike might have the pannier bag. One bike might have the rear saddle baskets. One might have the front white basket with a liner. One has a Goldilocks on it. So we can say, hey, listen, yeah, you can add this basket. Here's what it looks like on this bike. Here's what the baskets look like on this bike, so they can see it on a bike. But we haven't Mac Daddied out any bike. We've kind of just, hit one or two things on each bike.
And I would encourage exactly what you're doing, and not but, and Mac Daddy out at least one, if not two. And let's go back to the 80-20 rule. I mean, at 20 bikes in 24 days, what bikes have you been selling the most of? Out of 20, how many of them are interceptors or city commuters?
Primarily the step-through interceptors would be our biggest seller so far.
Okay. So, you know what, Rich? Just on that alone, take my information like spare ribs, keep the meat and throw away the bone. You take that one step-through interceptor, you take one, you Mac Daddy it out. You turn it into like the fully loaded caddy, right? And then what ends up happening is when they go out for a ride and they come back, you'll have your quote ready that you've printed off. And whether you use it in a Word document or you've got an accounting system that you can have it all ready to go, they come back from their first test ride and they come back, having ridden the best option. And then when somebody says to you, and I'll put it this way, because this is my approach, when somebody says, well, hey, Joe, I love this bike. What kind of deal can you give me? It'd be like, well, Scott, I totally appreciate that you're looking for a good deal. What is it specifically on this list that you want me to remove so we can save you some money? Because what I'm doing is I'm just taking off a line item, but I'm not discounting shit. So I'm holding margin.
Right.
Right? So having the quote and then an actual live, fully loaded bike ready is great. That way, what you end up doing is, if you have to, you can remove some items that they can come back. I mean, as long as you showed what's available, and I'm pointing at a bike, if I show what's on the bike fully loaded, you'll sell it loaded. The goal of this as well, the whole idea behind Army of One is, how can I help you guys save time? Remember, if the store starts to get a little bit busy and you're sitting there at the counter and they've decided, okay, I'm going to take an Interceptor, and then you're going, okay, what else do you need? It's not going to happen. Or you might start adding accessories, which is great because that definitely increases your blended margin, because accessories are 50% margin or better. The problem that you end up having is time, because now you've got other people that you want to be able to get butts on bikes. So suddenly, and again, I'm assuming that there's not a lot of staff in the store at any given time. So by having this, having the quote ready, you already know, okay, on that particular bike, this is what we suggest that people typically pick up. So then you can go, okay, so you go, okay, well, you're going to need a pump. And I know right now you don't have pumps, but get your pumps in, because everybody's going to need a pump. Like it's just standard. And then boom, boom. So Rich, Spizzato, is he the one doing the pump work?
I don't even know where I'm not sure he's even on the call.
Okay.
Well,
I see a Richard's iPhone, so I was assuming that it was him.
On the call. I
All
am doing the pumps. Sorry, I'm trying to navigate the highways and byways here.
No sweat, man. Just keep your eyes on the road.
But yes, I am getting the pumps at some point.
Do you guys have, this is to Rich Spizzato, do you know if you guys have an account with either QBP or with Holly?
Yeah.
We have them with 3 of them, NJ, JMB, or JBI.
Okay. And nobody's got pumps in?
Nope.
Unbelievable. Yeah. I'm trying to think of, there's, this is out of Montreal. I'll look them up for you, and I'll see if they've got any inventory. There's a company called Damour out of Montreal. You familiar with SBS? That's another.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, they're called. I mean, again, they're on the problem is they're on the other side of the world. I mean, they're in Seattle, but they're a big outfit. They're called Seattle Bike Supply. They may very well have access. So I put this here as a note to check stuff out for you, man. And I'll email the other Rich the links anyways, and you guys can go check it out.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure. So have you guys started? Have you started looking at putting an accessories quote together?
Not yet. To be honest with you, the accessories have been pretty challenging to us because we're trying to figure out what we can get and what we can't get. So,
right. So you know what? It's a great point that you bring up, because one of the things that I'm a big believer in, and I actually have it here, is called SWOT. Now, you've probably done a SWOT analysis in business before, where that's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. This is not what SWOT means in my world. What I mean here is sell what's available today.
right.
So everything that you have up on the wall right now that would go on an Interceptor, and make a quote. Just what's available today. Sell what's available today. The last thing that you want to do is tell somebody, oh yeah, we're going to get this. Even if it's an accessory, that's all the excuse they need. Well, I'll wait till you get it in before I buy it.
Okay.
So let's just sell what's available today.
Okay.
Right on, then. And the beauty of having the quote ready is it's gonna leapfrog the process of getting the sale completed. There's absolutely nothing wrong with, once they've made the decision, you know, to go right on, congratulations. Okay, so let's just finish this off. And here are the accessories that we recommend to go with that particular bike. Hand them the paper and let them tick off what they need. And this is the other thing is the job is we need to sell what's of it, like sell it. It's not your job to ask, would you like a helmet? Would you like a pump? They've already decided on the bike. So it's everybody on this call has to remember it is your job because you are the trusted advisor. You are the A-game authority. You're going to say, all right, so you're going to need a helmet. And if they say, well, I don't want a helmet. Wait a minute, wait. You got one brain. You need a brain bucket. We're going to get you a helmet.
I already have a helmet. That's what we get.
Yeah, like absolutely, like you got to tell them, okay, not, and again, it's not that you have the helmets. It's that the customer is. I'm saying as placing myself as a Pedego Cape May staff member, I'm going to be speaking to the customer like this. All right, so you're going to get a helmet. You're going to get a lock. I'm not asking them if they want a lock. I'm telling them they're going to need a freaking lock from us. Like they need it. Like this is all the accessories that are on this list are going to be important. So I'll even say, so how are you getting these bikes home? And some people will look cross-eyed. Well, you're going to need a rack. All right, let's get you a rack. I'm not asking, so, you know, would you like a Thule Easy Fold rack? I'm not asking them if they want it. I'm telling them that they're going to get it. And they're going to appreciate the fact that they have it because now they can fold the rack. They can put out the ramp. And the Thule Easy Fold is an extra $750 that you add to your invoice, which does what? It increases your blended margin. So yeah, like, and again, I'm not asking them, do you want a rack? Because if it's like, do you want fries with that? I mean, it's like, no. Like, I'm giving you all of these accessories on this list for a reason to be able to provide you the absolute best Pedego Cape May experience. Because the last thing I want is for that customer to go home and go, ah, shit, I should have bought that. And they go on Amazon and buy it.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
So if I remember correctly from our last session, we have a sheet printed out, and we're saying, or I thought what we were saying to them is after they purchased a bike, that we have a list of saying these are the accessories that people typically buy when purchasing this bike. Is that not the approach?
Yes, that is exactly the approach. You could say these are the, so for example, I'm playing pretend here, role playing as if this is the quote that's come off my printer, whatever your quote's going to look like. And so you go, okay, so here's the list that I'm going to show them, and you walk through it with them. And it no different than in the auto industry. You're just going to go over the list, and you're going to say, okay, so here's your actual bike, and then so these are the accessories that people will typically get with an Interceptor. So obviously you've got one brain, you're going to need a brain bucket, so you're going to need a helmet. Which helmet would you want? I'm not even like, notice that no is not on the table. I'm telling them you're going to need a helmet. Which one do you want? Either or.
Okay.
And what you'll see, Scott, is that this will happen. You'll go through whatever your list is. You'll be able to rip through your list so fast. And what's great is if you've done a really good job by following the template and you've developed a relationship, and I'm talking in minutes, you've developed a relationship where you're the trusted advisor, they're going to say, well, okay, Rich, or hey, Scott, Joe, what do I need? And you're going to say, here's what you need. And you're going to say, you're going to need this, you're going to need this, you're going to need, like, because you're the experts. So just fill them up. And again, I want to be clear. I'm not driving so much product accessories down people's throats just for the sake of making a sale and making money. I'm literally listening to everything they said to me based on what they've told me. Remember, at the end of the template, right, after they come back from the mini spin, there's 6 extra questions. Who's it for? Who else is going to use it? How are you going to use it? Where are you going to ride it? How long is your typical ride going to be? Are you planning on riding alone or in a group? And are there any physical issues that I need to know about, such as ankles, knees, hips, spine, heart, or lung? You get those questions out of the way, but you're going to listen to everything that they've told you. Based on what they've told you, you're going to give them the best option, and then you're going to put together the accessories that are appropriate for them. If they've got back issues, well, hey, no problem. We're going to put you on a suspension seat post, and we're going to change the saddle to give you a little bit more comfort. And because your back is also sore, upper back, we're going to put a riser stem on it. And we're going to give you different hand grips, so a little bit more cushion and comfort. You might choose to get gloves into the store, so that when you ride, it'll be a little bit more padded and comfortable, right? And then the other thing too is for safety's sake. God forbid you have a spill, the gloves, you're right. All of these reasons to be able to add more line items to be able to provide a better experience. Does that make sense? Just give me a thumbs up. Awesome.
But would you be okay with saying, kind of going along with the fact that you're the trusted advisor, is it okay to say, this is what we recommend? Or is that or does that let them off the hook?
You know what? I think the answer to that, Scott, is you could split test it. You can say, here's, to be able to say, have a printing and go, here's what we, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Here's what we typically recommend for people that are buying the Interceptor. Yeah. And a lot of people will pick up this type of package. Here's the accessory, and then just go over it with them.
Okay. All right. That's good.
And I think what's really important in this, Scott, and I think it's a great question that you're bringing up, your tone of voice is going to be critically important. When you come across, if you come across timid, they're going to walk all over you. If tone represents 38% of the way that we communicate. And I'm about to put up a PowerPoint, and we're going to go through some of the S.O.S. today. So I'm just using this piece of paper as an example. If I come in and I go, so here's some of the things that people would sometimes want to buy to go with the bike, game over. But if I come in, okay, right on, Debbie, here's some of the things that I'm going to highly recommend that you get, and this is what we strongly encourage you to pick up if you want to have the ultimate Pedego experience. It comes down to that you're using words that sell. In fact, I was on a training call with another person who's doing Army of One. And he's a different type of sales guy, not in the bike industry. But I was telling him about this book. This was last week, and it's just a fun little book. It's a thesaurus of words that sell, and you can use that as part of your language while you're discussing things with people, because the brain picks up on all of this stuff. It's called neuro-linguistic programming. And so you're using words that, will get people to go, yeah, you know what? Okay, yeah, I'll do it, as opposed to being standoffish. And I'm about to show you guys an example of how powerful this is, and I'll open the proverbial kimono on that right now. It's like the difference between, when somebody says your product's too expensive, a lot of people will just go, well, compared to what? Or they'll say, well, what are you comparing it to? If you switch the words from you to we, and you use S.O.S, which is a two-step system, step one, you acknowledge, step two, you ask a question. So, man, this is really expensive. Hey, Scott, thanks for letting me know how you feel. What exactly are we comparing it to? I didn't say, what are you comparing it to? What are we comparing it to? I'm bringing myself inclusively into the conversation. It's no different than what's more powerful. Debbie, what's more powerful? Hey, I appreciate it. Or, hey, I appreciate you.
Hey, I appreciate you.
Absolutely, one word. I changed one word, and yet the effect in your mind, it's massive. So, and that's some of the wordplay. And in fact, we might as well just jump right into it. We're gonna get into. So again, using a quote, guys. Just get your quotes ready. Even have something. I'd love to see it by Thursday. Just show me something that you've got. Sell what's available today, and I'm gonna share my screen real quick here, and I might as well put the sound on. These quotes, just like San Diego, right? Just put together something for, you notice here he's got, Boomerang and Interceptor. And then he's got Platinum, Interceptor, and Black Edition. And there's a lot of the stuff that is congruent. It's going from one to the other. That's fine. And by the way, I think I sent them all over to you. Did I not, Rich? I think I sent you quite a few different versions.
Yes.
Yeah. So, if you've got the Ridge Rider, if you've got, you need basically 4 quotes, and you basically got the whole bike lineup. And they're all almost going to, a lot of them are going to look the same, but that's irrelevant. It's purely a tool to help your memory and speed up. That way you don't have, the last thing that anybody wants is to feel like they're being sold. What we're doing is we're giving them choices. And oftentimes you're going to hear me say, keep no off the table. I don't want no. No's not an option. The only time that you're going to hear no is when you're actually going in for the close, when I'm actually saying, so do you want to take it? That's a yes or no. Otherwise, it's when they take it, right? Or you could say, so, and this is one of my little tricks, is they go out for the best ride, they come right on the best one, they go out, they come back, so do you want to take it? Well, how much? It's $39.95. How much? Well, it's crazy. No sweat. You know what? Just for fun, let me bring you over to the baby brother version. You're losing a few features, but you know what? Just for fun, take it out for a ride and tell me what you think. They go, they come back, and then I go, so now I go for the close, but I go, which one do you like better? Oh, I really like that other one. Awesome. You want to take it? I'm going back in. You're going to hear no 5 times. You might as well just go and ask. Get used to it. No just means no for now. All right, so I'm going to show you guys the PowerPoint on S.O.S. I'm just going to get this prepared for you guys. All right. I thought this was prepped. Here we go. You guys need to be back on screen here. Okay. Let me share my screen, and we're going to jump right into this. So this is, everybody see this?
Yes.
Excellent. So the sales objection system, or S.O.S, is something that this is something that's really a lot of fun. And, you can probably hear some music. So I'll get it past that. So the real cool thing about the sales objection system, and if anybody's got questions, just jump in at any time. I do a thing called the S.O.S, the Sales Objection System Dojo. I get salespeople from a variety of different industries. They come in. I do them Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, at different times of the day, and I get up to 6 people at a time. And we're going to actually do a little bit of a dojo class. Everybody on the call over the next couple of calls. We're going to practice handling objections. For most people in sales, the challenge that they have is handling the objections. And when you know how to handle an objection correctly, your confidence goes through the roof, which leads you to being able to ask for the sale. It leads you to be able to hear no and not caring, because it's just water off a duck's back. So if you're ready to make more sales without any more money spent on ads, and you want to be able to have more happy customers, so that's me right here in a shop in Toronto called Gears Bike Shop. They've been around for 33 years. They've got 4 locations. They're Toronto's biggest bike retailer. They're also a Pedego dealer. And that's the quote from Don down here, just really cool. So you've come to the right place. So you guys probably know that I've written a couple of books, and that I've been doing sales training for a while. That's actually me at a Pedego dealer meeting a couple of years ago. And then some of my clients include the Forzani Group, Canada's largest sporting goods retailer, obviously Pedego, Sport Check, Napa Valley Bike Shop, fitness companies, nutrition companies, and everybody's saying the same thing. They want more traffic, they want more sales. And like I told you earlier, the metrics tell us a different story. that, only 5% of the people are typically buying on the first visit, which means 95% of the people don't buy on the first visit. So you have two solutions. You either follow up, or you improve your skills. Well, you're already set up with lead cycles for the follow-up, which is great. So now we're going to focus on improving your sales skills. And the outcome that I want for you is happy customers, you're making more money, and it's lower stress, right? It's all good. So we talked about knowing your metrics. I've already talked about getting the clicker counter, finding out, asking that important marketing question, how did you hear about us? You're getting your names onto the digital test ride waiver, so have that ready for Thursday, guys. And then just cross-comparing it with your daily sales, right? I sent you over, Rich, the daily metrics tracker. You'll be able to see, if you can measure it, you can grow it. So FDS is something that I call feature dumping syndrome. And a lot of Pedego stores, they talk about voltage, they talk about amperage, they talk about specs, they talk about planetary geared drive. Feature dumping syndrome is a race to the bottom when that's where you're comparing what versus what, and your customers don't care. They literally don't care about what versus what, unless you make it a big deal. What they care about is your why. And people don't buy what you sell, they buy why you sell it. So if you focus on their why, you're going to be able to build a relationship with them. And you earn the right, the ETR, you earn the right to ask. So you ask them questions, you listen, you understand, and then you take action by asking for the sale. And that's how you're going to be successful. The thing in sales is that you're always going to run into objections. No matter how well prepared, something's going to happen where the customer or the prospect's going to flip on you. And the thing is, an objection feels like a rejection. For those of us, memories of high school come flooding back where you're asking somebody out on a date. And then all of a sudden it's like, and I'm telling you, like, grown men have told me, dude, I just can't do it because they feel embarrassed. You look at this person here with a broken heart and they're red in the face. You got to remember, though, an objection is not a rejection. No just means no for now. So the goal of S.O.S. is to help build up some resilience. So you have more energy, higher attitude, more optimistic, and then you'll have a sense of humor about it. You'll build up that emotional resilience. And objections are a stalling tactic. Has anybody ever dealt with this kid? Maybe not this one in particular, but who, anybody got little people?
Not anymore.
Yeah, Sean and I are now empty nesters. Our last one just left the nest about a month ago. But you've seen this little kid, and by the way, your customers are just like this little guy, right? I don't want to go to bed. I'm not tired. I'm hungry. I'm thirsty. Tell me a story. I want mom. I mean, it's just these little mofos are great at putting little stalling tactics together. Well, your customers are exactly the same way. I don't want to think about it. I need to go talk to my significant other. I don't make a decision like this without sleeping on it. It's a stall. And objections can also be flat out, pardon my French, bullshit, right? Full out lies. And objections can definitely be a force of habit, right? It's a great little book here about habits of influence, but if you think about it, when you ask somebody, can I help you, which is an absolutely terrible question to ask, the answer is going to be no, because we are programmed to say it. You're going in for a specific reason because you're curious about e-bikes. Hey, can I help you? No. Well, you've just shut the door. Remember, my suggestion, like I showed the Forsanti group in Canada, to be able to help decrease theft in store was, hey folks, welcome here. First time in the store? Yeah, I'm just looking. Feel free to look around, no sweat. Somebody will come back and check up on you in a quick moment. As opposed to, yeah, my name's Joe. Look around. If you have any questions, just give me a shout. I've just shut the door. Right? If you don't remember, if you actually say, hey, my name's Rich. Take a look around. If you need anything, give me a shout. And then you go back step into that conversation with them without saying, hey, Rich, I have a question. You're lying to the customer. You start off the relationship based on a lie. So by just saying, hey, have a look around, and I'll come back and check up on you in a quick moment, when you do go back, you've told the truth. And that's also neuro-linguistic programming. Like, your mind picks up on the fact that, hey, I never asked them to come back here. Nobody wants to be sold, but they want to choose to buy. The goal is win-win. It's not win-lose where, you know, they buy a bike from you for totally cheap. Then you resent them, right? It's got to be win-win. You make money, and they're totally ecstatic and delighted on what they're purchasing. So remember, no means no for now. No just means no for now. So what is the S.O.S? It's not sink or swim, right? It's simple. Simplicity is elegance. It's a two-step system. Step one, you acknowledge. Step one, acknowledge. Step two, ask a question. That's S.O.S. That's it. It's that simple. The thing is this is where people make the mistake, right? They go, if that's it, it's that simple. Hey, right on. That's all I need to know, Joe. And that's like, no, this is where people trip up all the time. All right?
Joe, just on the questioning part, you know, with the whole sales training history, I think it's always good to remember trying to ask those open-ended questions. You know,
Yes.
the what, how, why, as opposed to yes/no questions. And then I always think it's a good idea to ask more than one question.
100%.
Get them talking. So, you know, what do you know about electric bikes? Or, you know, what made you come in today? Or, you know, what are you looking for that you're looking at electric bikes? Those kind of things, just because they'll give you the answers that we're trying to uncover.
Which is why, again, during the template phase, like that first question is a closed question. It's first time in the store, right? And I know that some people are, oh no, you can't ask a closed question. In my world, it's okay to hear no, right? In that context, because hey, it's your first time in the store? No, I've been in before. Oh, awesome. Who are you dealing with? Let me go get them. And then you mark down be back, right? So but I totally agree with where you're at as far as handling objections. It sets you up to have more of a conversation. This is exactly where we're going with the S.O.S. So here's where people trip up. Again, remember, I go all the way back here. People, if you feel like this, right, this is what stops people from asking for the sale now. This is what, that feeling of, I'm embarrassed, I've been rejected, and I want to help you avoid that. And we have to do that through practice. This is the part right here. It's your emotional response. You can have the two-step system all you like, but if you don't handle your emotional response correctly, that's where things go bad. Either you start discounting, you give stuff away, or your customers walk, right? When emotions go up, intelligence goes down. Right? When people start you may not freak out in front of the prospect, but if you feel nervous, like you know the moment of truth is coming, that you have to say, hey, so do you want to take it? And then cover your mouth, shut your lips, don't say a word, because whoever speaks first makes the buying decision. So when emotions go up, intelligence goes down. How many of you have ever been in an argument with your significant other only to regret it within seconds when something came out of your face? Yeah, exactly. We've all been there. Well, the beauty of sales is that you'll have a response at the ready. You'll know what to say, and you'll be able to just go and get it. That's the whole thing about S.O.S. So when emotion is too high, intellect is way too low. And here's how some of the responses will feel, right? Like complete outrage, like you want to kill somebody when they say something that's complete. You know, when somebody says to you, man, these Pedego electric bikes are expensive. A lot of Pedego dealers, they get emotionally charged because the bikes aren't expensive. There's a ton of value that's built into these bikes. And the service that you provide, it feels insulting when somebody gets into your face and says, hey, man, that's really expensive. So if you have that type of response, you might piss somebody off, and then they'll leave. And it all comes back to fear. fear, whether you want to agree with it or not, fear is real. And, you know, Yoda used to, you know, as he said in one of the Star Wars movies, you know, fear leads to anger, and men are we're the worst. The second that and I'll be the first person to admit it, the second I feel fear, I just go to anger. It's easier for me to mask it that way. Fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, then hate leads to suffering, right? So an objection is not a rejection. So in comes the S.O.S, the sales objection system, to save our sales. And the skill is to, you know, it's like to be able to swim with the sharks, or if you look at this guy here, he's actually smiling when bombs are going off. I think of it this way, the military, you've seen video of people crawling under barbed wire and they're firing, you know, blanks, but they're firing rounds to get people conditioned to those types of environments. Well, that's exactly what we're going to do right now with practicing the S.O.S. It's a two-step system. All right. Again, it's acknowledge, ask a question. Acknowledge, ask a question. The thing that people really mess up is that they read a lot of sales books, or they hear a lot about the theory, but they don't put it into practice. Guys, what we used to do on Saturdays at my store, Saturdays, we would actually do a SWOT analysis, sell what's available today. I would check what's available in the inventory. We would get together in a group. This was at a fitness store. I know I was in my early 20s, so I could get away with eating anything. So at a fitness store, I would show up with coffee and donuts for the staff. Again, fitness, and we're eating donuts, but whatever. We were burning so many calories, it didn't matter. We'd be eating donuts and coffee. We'd be practicing handling objections before we opened the store. So we'd have a staff meeting, store opened at 10. We'd show up at 9, coffee, donuts, go over the SWOT, sell what's available today, what's on inventory. If there was inventory that we needed to move quickly, we would put a spiff on it. So we put some kind of little incentive, like, hey, we're sitting on this particular product for too long, we got to get rid of it. Because you got to rotate your inventory. And then what we would do is we'd practice, practice, practice. Now, practice is something that you do alone. And I like to use, you know, the example of a band. If you're a musician, you practice alone, but you get together with your band and you rehearse. That way you get in front of the audience and you get a standing ovation. And in sales, it's making the sale. It's getting the contract. So you want to avoid the emotional roller coaster. Like, we don't want this. Let's avoid the fire. You got to remember, it's a mind game. So real quick, you guys, what are some of the objections that I already have a top 3 objections that we're gonna practice. But what objections have you heard so far at the store?
Price, for sure.
Okay, got it. What else?
I want to ride. I like riding my regular bike because I get more exercise.
Love that. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely exercise is the one that I hear a lot.
Okay, I've got something for you that's going to help. That's great. I love it. What else?
I would think probably timing. We definitely see this in our future, but just not right now.
Okay. Yeah, I love that one. Not right now. And then it's like, yeah. So I bring it back. I go, so I just want to be clear then, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, you told me you love the bikes. So you love the bikes. Yeah, but the timing's not good. Okay, so you love the bikes, which is great. I'm curious, why do you want to delay your joy? And then I would say, so if I could get you, because you not right now is usually, it's not that it's not that it's expensive. It might be because they can't afford it. So it's like, hey, listen, if I could get you to ride out of here and you didn't have to pay for 6 months interest free, would you want to do that? I'm going to go over some of the classic examples. Product being too expensive is right. Price is always the big thing. So the example, and I went over this with you already, so we're going to go quickly through this. So your product's too expensive. Remember, the power of words, neuro-linguistic programming is so important, right? Communication, according to Moravian's rule, 7% words, 38% tone, 55% body language. I mean, if you could get somebody who's calling you, right, on a Zoom call, it's way harder to tell somebody no face-to-face than it is, you know, just to text it. You'll get ghosted by text and email all the time. Very difficult by phone and near impossible on a Zoom call or FaceTime or definitely face-to-face. It's hard to say no. So step one in this example is, right, your product's too expensive. You don't just go compared to what and get right into their face. You always remember S.O.S, acknowledge, ask a question. Acknowledge, ask a question. So, hey man, these bikes are really expensive. Or, you want how much for that? It's the same objection. It's your product's too expensive. Step one, acknowledge. Hey, thanks for letting me know how you feel. You're simply acknowledging their opinion. It's not a fact. It's an opinion. Hey, thanks for letting me know how you feel. What exactly are we comparing it to? That's the question. What exactly are we comparing it to? This is, if you're saying what exactly are you comparing it to, you're pushing them away. If you're saying what exactly are we comparing it to, you're drawing them in. That one word shift, like I gave you an example before, right? It's you versus we. Product's too expensive, right? What are you comparing? As opposed to the S.O.S way, your product's too expensive. Thanks for letting me know how you feel, man. No sweat. What exactly are we comparing it to? And 9 times out of 10, people are going to go, I don't know. I could buy a car for that money, you know, like that kind of thing. Or you'll get somebody who said, if they say a specific brand, then you can at least uncover and peel away the layers of the onion so you know exactly where to go, right? So be inclusive by using the word we, not you. And remember, objections have disguises. Somebody might say, your product's too expensive, or, dude, are you serious? Are you nuts? It's still, your product's too expensive. The steps are going to remain the same. Acknowledge, ask a question. Acknowledge, ask a question. Thanks for letting me know how you feel. What exactly are we comparing it to? And I know it is scripted for now. I want you guys to use this scripted response and do it word for word. But what's going to happen is, because some people tell me, Joe, I don't want to be a sales robot, or I don't want to be robotic. If that's the case, I'm never going to do this. And it's like, listen, it's like learning a piece of music. Once you know how the song is played, you can play it any way you want, but you still got to use the notes. It's the exact same. It's like Jimi Hendrix's version of All Along the Watchtower. It's a great song. He didn't write it. It's a Bob Dylan song, right? Bob Dylan's version is good. I personally love the Hendrix version. That's all. And he plays it completely different, but it's the same song. Same thing with this. So your popular objections, the 3 that I hear in Pedego stores the most are it's price. So your product's too expensive. I need to go home and think about it. It's a big one, but your product's too expensive. I want to go home and do some research. That's the one that I hear often. And then the last one is, what kind of deal can you give me? But we've got the other ones here, right? And I'll be able to cover them all with you if time permits. The S.O.S will work with upset clients. 2 steps: acknowledge, ask a question. I was actually on a training in Delaware years ago, and I was training a fitness store, and there was actually somebody from Jersey who was working on their staff. He was in charge of their service department. And you guys will appreciate this, right? You want to talk about when emotions go up, intelligence goes down. This guy's on the phone, and I'm walking past their service department, and this is literally the conversation. He goes, yeah, well, you suck. And he slams the phone down, and I'm like, oh my God. So I go over, I'm like, okay, what happened here? And he said, well, she said that our service department sucked. So, yeah, well, you suck, and hung up the phone. So I said, you know what? I'm going to show you a tool that I use called the S.O.S. And sometimes we gotta suck it up in these hard times. Like when somebody says, "Hey, your service level sucks," 2 steps. Step 1, acknowledge that. I would go, "Whoa, obviously something happened here that's making you pissed off. Can you tell me?" Asking the question, "Can you tell me specifically what happened, please?" And just listen. You're going to be able to diffuse the situation. You know, if somebody's upset, just let them get pissed off and just listen. Okay, they could be walking right into the store. Okay, what else happened? What else happened? And remember, I earlier on in the PowerPoint, I said it's about win-win. So don't put yourself in a position of win-lose where you say, well, what do we need to do to fix this? Because you know what customers are going to say? I want a new bike. I just want a new bike. Just give me a brand new bike. Like, that's not a win-win. That's win-lose. So the goal is, hey, so what would be a win? So an example in this angry customer example, I would say, you know what, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, thanks for sharing everything that you've got going on, and I'm really sorry that this is happening. What would be a win-win that we could come up with here that will resolve this? And if they say, well, I want a brand new bike, I would say, hey, listen, acknowledge, I totally appreciate that you want a brand new bike. Unfortunately, that's not a win-win for us here. So what would be another option that we could come up with to be able to resolve this? And then you could say, if I were to give you a loaner bike, so at least you're still on the road and I could repair the problem, would that work for you? And a lot of stores are doing that, by the way. The occasional lemon will happen. I don't know why. You'll end up having a bike that there's ghosts in the machine and you don't know where the gremlin is going. You've changed the display. Now you got to change a battery. Now you got to change a data cable. And still not working. It'll happen. It's rare, but it'll happen. You can satisfy the customer with a loaner bike. Here, take the rental. We're going to repair the bike. We'll take care of you. We offer you a 5-year warranty. We just got to come to the, you'll be able to deal with it. Let me keep going here so we're almost done. So again, it works with upset clients. The S.O.S. is a game. It's something that you guys could play at the store level, walking past each other. Hey man, product's too expensive, and somebody's got to answer. Or I want to go home and do some research and be able to answer it quickly, right? And I'll show you what the 2 steps are. And I mean, the words will just come flowing out of your mouth. I want to go home and do some research. Hey, acknowledge. I totally appreciate that you want to be well informed. Ask the question, what is it specifically that you want to research that you and I didn't get a chance to talk about today? 9 times out of 10, they're going to go, I don't know. Because when somebody tells you, I want to go home and do some research, you know what they're really telling me? And correct me if I'm wrong, everybody. I want to go home and do some research means I want to go online to see if I can find it cheaper. That's what it means. So you can't let them walk. You cannot let somebody walk out the door, because the unfortunate truth is there will be a Pedego store if they call. The store will try to close them over the phone. Right? Because we're not in control of what people will say on the call. And by the way, if somebody's gone to another Pedego store and they didn't buy from them and they're calling you, I think you have every right to be able to attempt the close on the phone as well, because they're taking up your time. If somebody calls in the store, the template remains the same, by the way. We're going to do, I'll do a PowerPoint with you guys on Thursday. It's called Give Good Phone, right? You got to give good phone, which means, somebody's going to call the store. Yeah, what do you sell an Interceptor for? Right? What do your bikes start at? Well, if you just mention the price, they're going to, thanks, click. I always like to say, our bikes start at 0. Yeah, and then when you start pedaling, they go a little bit faster and faster, and they go to 1 and then to 2. No, the price. Hey, is this your first time calling our store? Well, how'd you hear about us? You ever ride a Pedego? You haven't ridden a Pedego before? Okay, let me pull out my calendar here. Let's set up a time that you got to come in. I mean, the goal is get them in the store. Get them, like, if they already know what they want and they're calling you, then what do you need to do to be able to close the deal? Find out. All right, let me get back into this. So The sales objection system is going to help build your KLT, which is your know, like, and trust. Some people call it know, love, and trust, because when people know you, they like you, and they trust you, they will buy from you. And what's the point of it all? It's building deep relationships, because people buy off of who they know, they love, and they trust. And again, you're going to hear no at least 5 times. Does this make sense? And then usually when I do this PowerPoint, I'm going to stop here. I go through all of this, and then I talk about the name, blah, 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 and then I tell them about the S.O.S, which is the dojo. There's Rich coming in. And people come into my S.O.S dojo, and they pay me a monthly fee, and then we do 30 minutes. They're usually about 45. And then we're gonna actually do it right now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna practice a few objections right now for the rest of the call. And I'm gonna put them up on the screen. So there's literally no excuses. I do want you to write them down, but I'm gonna put them up on screen, and I'll send these to you. Give me a sec here, and I'll increase the view on this. So, but I do want you guys to write this down. Let me share the screen here. So you can see this right there. Your product's too expensive. Everybody see that?
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, so Debbie, is for whatever the reason you're on top of the screen here. So I'll get you to unmute.
Okay.
So
yeah,
we're just gonna. This is how we're gonna practice this, you and me, for just 60 seconds, and everybody else is. This is how you play the game and how you practice it. So Debbie, I'm gonna say to you, your product's too expensive. You're literally just read the words right now. Just say, thank you for letting me know how you feel. What exactly are we comparing it to? Okay. And then after you say what exactly are we comparing it to, you say to me, your product is too expensive. Okay, so Debbie, your product's too expensive.
Thank you for letting me know how you feel. What exactly are we comparing it to? Your product is too expensive.
Thanks for letting me know how you feel, Debbie. I'm curious, what exactly are we comparing it to? Debbie, your product's too expensive. Go ahead.
We do it again. Oh. Thank you for letting me know how you feel. What exactly are you comparing it to? Your product is too expensive.
What is we?
We, sorry.
Yeah. Notice that I pick up on that stuff, guys, and this is important. It's okay. And by the way, I want to be very clear. Everybody, we're all going to do this. It's safe to make mistakes in here right now. It sucks to make mistakes on the sales floor. But it's okay, Debbie and everybody else. We're all going to screw up, myself included. It's safe to make mistakes. Me too, right now, all good. This is why you practice, okay? So, Debbie, your product's too expensive.
Thank you for letting me know how you feel. What exactly are we comparing it to? Your product is too expensive.
Hey, thanks for letting me know how you feel, Debbie. What exactly are we comparing it to? Debbie, your product's too expensive.
Thank you for letting me know how you feel, Joe. What exactly are we comparing it to? Your product is too expensive.
You know what, Debbie? I appreciate you letting me know how you feel. What exactly are we comparing it to? Debbie, this is crazy. I mean, is this in pesos? Like, this is, I can't believe these bikes are so much money.
Joe, thank you for letting me know how you feel. What exactly are we comparing it to?
Right on.
Your product is too expensive.
Good job, Debbie. That's great. So what I want you to do is, even off of the call and in weeks to come, you'll be able to practice your common objections. You now have the formula. You know the formula is acknowledge, ask a question. Debbie, are you already feeling more comfortable with this? Right? You notice
Yes.
how it's easier now? Like 60 seconds. Imagine if you were to,
yeah.
What we'll do in a bit here is we're going to practice this just for fun. I'll just using Debbie as the example. Now you can't read it. So Debbie, Your product's too expensive. It's okay.
Joe, thanks for letting me know how you feel. What exactly are we comparing it to?
Nice, nice. Now here's what we're
I
going
wrote
to do.
it down.
Yeah, no, good. I want you to. Part of the exercise in getting it into your brain is you do want to write it down. Even if you don't go to the notes later, it's going to get in there. So now part of the exercise, and everybody's going to do this today, is Debbie, we're going to play this game again. But now what I want is I don't want you to stutter. No ums, excessive pauses.
Okay.
If it happens, you're going to keep yourself accountable. I'm going to keep you accountable. I'm going to say stop, and we're going to say the objection again. You're going to say it to me first, and I'll show you how it works. And by the way, everybody else on the call, you're allowed to go stop. You find that I paused for too long, or if I stuttered or anything, say stop, and then Debbie will say, Joe, your product's too expensive. So start off, Debbie. I'll show you what I mean. Go ahead.
Your product is too expensive.
Stop. Say it again.
Your product is too expensive.
Thanks for letting me know how you feel.
Stop.
Thank you. Debbie, again.
Your product is too expensive.
Thanks for letting me know how you feel, Debbie. Again,
Stop.
right?
Your
Go.
product is too expensive.
Thanks for letting me know how you feel. What exactly are we comparing it to? Debbie, your product's way too expensive.
Stop.
Debbie, your product's too expensive.
Thanks for letting me know how you feel. What exactly are we talking about?
Stop. Okay. Debbie, your product's too expensive.
Thanks for letting me know how you feel. What exactly are we talking about?
What exactly are we comparing it to?
Oh, sorry. All
Wait,
right, one more time.
your product's too-
Thanks for letting me know how you feel. What exactly are we comparing it to?
Good job.
Nice.
Joe, you're next. Joe, you ready? I'll get you to unmute.
Yes.
Hey, Joe, and just for giggles here, I'll put the screen up so you can read it. Hey, Joe, your product's too expensive, man.
Thanks for letting me know how you feel. What exactly are we comparing it to?
Back to me, go.
Your product is too expensive.
Thanks for letting me know how you feel, Joe. I'm curious, what exactly are we comparing it to? Joe, your product, like I can't get over how much money you're asking for a stupid bike.
Well, thanks for letting me know how you feel. But what exactly are we comparing it to, Joe?
Boy, good call. Right back to me, go again.
Your product is too expensive.
Thanks for letting me know how you feel. What exactly are we comparing it to, Joe? Joe, I'm really having a hard time believing that a bike can actually sell for this kind of money.
Well, thanks for letting me know how you feel. But what exactly are we comparing it to?
Nice job. So you notice we're just using the one objection of price, but what you'll hear from a prospect, it'll come in different disguises, and sometimes that'll actually give you I've literally in my career have somebody literally get in my face pissed off about the price of the product that's manufactured suggested retail. They're like, right? And if you get all frazzled, you'll lose the sale. So Joe, hey man, your product's way too expensive.
Thanks for letting me know how you feel. But what exactly are we comparing it to?
You guys got it. Rich, you're next. You're next on my list here. Rich, I'm going to share the screen so you can see it. And you'll see this gets interesting. It gets interesting when we have like 3 or 4 objections in a row. And I'll show you. We're going to build a flow chart. This is how we get started, guys. But I promise you're going to look back at this and go, it kind of sucked at first, but now I get why. So, Rich, your product's too expensive.
It's Rich, B or S.
Oh, sorry, Rich B. He's on my
Great.
Rich, yeah, on my screen next. But Rich S. You're on deck. You're on deck. So, Rich B. Your product's too expensive.
Thanks for letting me know how you feel, Joe. What exactly are we comparing it to?
Try it again. Your product's too expensive.
Product's too expensive.
Thanks for letting me know how you feel. What exactly are we comparing it to? Rich, I can't believe that you guys sell bikes for this price.
Well, thanks for letting me know how you feel, Joe. What exactly are we comparing it to?
Excellent. Right back to me one more time.
Your product's too expensive, Joe.
Hey, you know what, Rich? I totally appreciate you letting me know how you feel. But I'm curious, like, what exactly are we comparing it to? You'll see tone of voice.
Yeah.
We'll play it out like conversationally. So again, now I'll take it off screen. So Rich, your product's too expensive. No ums, no buts, no stuttering.
I appreciate you letting me know how you feel, Joe. What exactly are we comparing it to?
Got it. Good job. Rich S. You ready?
Hey, guys.
Rich Spizzato, I'll get you to unmute. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Yep, there you go.
Sorry, I'm in the middle of doing some.
Rich, you there, man?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, man. Hey, Rich, again, I'm assuming you're driving, so you can't see the screen, or if you can, you probably heard.
I think I remember what you guys were saying.
Right on. I would think so at this point. I know it's repetition, but trust me, repetition is the road to mastery. It's like Bruce Lee said it best. He's not concerned about the person that's tried 1,000 different kicks one time. He's fearful of the person that's tried one kick 1,000 times. That's who he'd be worried about getting into a fight with, and that's exactly what we're doing here. So, Rich, your product's too expensive.
Thanks for letting me know that, Joe. I appreciate it. What exactly are you comparing it to? And man, Joe, your product is really expensive.
Well, you know what, Rich? I appreciate you letting me know how you feel. I'm curious, what exactly are we comparing it to? Rich, your product's too expensive, man.
Hey, I really appreciate you letting me know that. And can you give me a little idea of what you're comparing it to?
All right,
man, your product's expensive, Joe.
So Rich, here's the important part on the scripted response. Excuse me. When somebody says your product's too expensive and I say, thanks for letting me know that, if I say, thanks for letting me know that, and that's what my acknowledgement is, it's almost as if I'm agreeing with them. But if I say, thanks for letting me know how you feel, I'm acknowledging their opinion, but I'm not saying I'm not agreeing with them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. So don't forget the how you feel part. So Rich, your product's too expensive.
Thanks for letting me know how you feel, Joe. I appreciate that. What exactly are you comparing it to?
Yeah, and don't forget to say we.
We, dang it.
That's all right, man. It's why we do it. It's why we're doing this back and forth. And what's great, guys, is you guys can get on phone calls with each other, or you could get together as a group and practice this because it's worth it. The science of neurolinguistic programming proves it. It's worth the little effort that we're putting in right now. It'll go a long way, and you'll see where I'm going with this. Hey, so, Rich, again, your product's too expensive, man. You'll have to unmute.
Thanks for letting me know how you, Joe, feel. Thanks for letting me know how you feel, Joe.
Yeah.
What exactly are we comparing it to?
Nice job. Back to me. Go again.
Your product's really expensive, Joe, more than I actually thought it would be.
Well, you know what, Rich, I totally appreciate you letting me know how you feel. I'm curious, though, man, what exactly are we comparing it to? Rich, one last time, this product is way more money than I would have thought for a bike.
Thanks, Joe, and I can really appreciate where you're coming from, and thanks for letting me know how you feel. What exactly, if I can ask, are you comparing it to?
And don't forget the we, but you got it. You got it. Scott.
We comparing it to, yes.
What are we comparing it to? Scott, you on the call? Or is it Pat? I only see iPhone, so I'm not sure who's on the call.
It's Pat.
All right, Pat. So, your turn. Your product's too expensive.
Thanks for letting me know how you feel, Joe. I'm curious, what exactly are we comparing it to?
Nice.
Your bikes are too expensive and your service department sucks.
Well, let me answer the first thing here. I'm curious how you feel. what exactly are we comparing it to, and what happened in our service department that's making you feel this way.
We're all training amongst ourselves.
Nice job.
That's
I think you guys got this down. Here's the thing. Feels because we're getting multiple people on the phone call. Debbie and Joe.
Where are you guys coming from?
Debbie and Joe. I'll get
Yes.
You come down here.
do the exact same exercise we did between each other. And I'll there we go. So Debbie, you start. You say to Joe, your product's too expensive, and you guys go back and forth real quick. So I want to make sure you guys got this. Go ahead.
Your product's too expensive.
Well, thanks for letting me know how you feel, Debbie. What are we comparing it to?
Nice. Back to her.
Your product's too expensive.
Thanks for letting me know, Joe. What exactly are we comparing it to?
Thanks for letting me know how you feel. Yeah. If you just yeah. So Debbie, and again, this is what's wrong when you do 3 people. You have somebody listening between everybody, and it's amazing what we'll pick up. So again, if I were to say, if you said to me, "Hey, Joe, your product's too expensive," and I said, "Hey, thanks for letting me know," it's almost like I'm agreeing with you. Where it's like, "Hey, thanks for letting me know how you feel."
Okay.
Okay. So Joe, throw it back to Debbie one more time.
Want me to say thanks?
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead and tell her her product's too expensive.
Product's too expensive.
Joe, thanks for letting me know how you feel. What exactly are we comparing it to?
Nice job. Right back to him. Go ahead.
Your product's too expensive.
Thanks for letting me know how you feel, Debbie. But I'm curious, what are we comparing it to?
Nice. So do you guys see how this works? I mean, it's such a simple exercise, but once you've done this a few times, you'll be able to put it in your own words. And you guys are already all starting to do that a little bit. And that's just with one objection.
Right.
So we're going to spend a lot of time for the rest of this call. We're going to keep practicing the S.O.S, but I'm going to move on to a different objection just for sake of the exercise. And again, people pay me to get into the dojo so that we could practice this. I'm going to go to the other popular one that I want. You guys can see this here where it says I want to go home and do some research.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can change this up. And by the way, Debbie, I'll send this document over to Rich after our call today. That way you guys will have it.
Yeah.
But the beauty of this, I appreciate you taking notes. I want you to write it down. I want you to take photos because this is just going to get in here. Now, here's my experience with this particular objection. Again, I want to go home and do some research. I say, and this is where a lot of people make the mistake. When somebody says, I want to go home and do some research, they'll say, well, here's a brochure, here's my card, and call me when you're ready. Oh my God. You just let them walk. What they've said is, I want to go home and do some research, and they didn't finish the sentence. The sentence is, I want to go home and do some research so I can see if I find the bike that I really love from you guys cheaper online. That's exactly what is not being said. What you're going to say is, I appreciate that you want to be well informed. So you're basically saying, good for you. You're going to go do some research. And then you're going to say, what is it that you're going to go research that we didn't chat about today? Some people find the word specifically difficult to say. So you can use step 2 the way that you want. The way I like it is, hey, what specifically is it that you want to research that we didn't talk about today? But you can frame it or use it in words that you're going to feel comfortable with. So again, Debbie, we're going to start with you. You're going to say to me, I'm going to go home and do some research. I'm going to leave this up on screen. Don't worry. No pressure. A little bit worrier. Because and I'm going to tell you how this is going to flow. And when I say flow, I'm going to show you what I mean. I'll come back to this. Don't worry. I'll put the words back up on screen. Okay? This is how it's going to happen. Somebody's going to say to you, they're going to say research, right? They're going to throw out the research objection. And you're going to say, You're going to use S.O.S. And you're going to say, hey, I totally appreciate that you want to be well informed. What is it specifically that you want to go research that you and I didn't get a chance to talk about today? They're either going to say something like other brands, or they're going to say, I don't know, which 9 times out of 10 is going to be in this direction, okay? So this starts to take on, it's an ugly looking flow chart, but it's a flow chart, right? I want to go home and do some research. You use S.O.S. You'll go this way or I don't know. Here's the thing. The I don't know is bullshit. It's an absolute lie. What they want to go do research on is actually they want to see if they can get, this is all about price. They're looking at getting a better price. So when somebody said, this is how I do it on the floor. I will take someone who says to me, I want to go home and do some research, and before they know it, we're negotiating the deal. I'm going to show you how that looks like right now. I want to go home and do some research. Hey, Debbie, you know what? I totally appreciate that you want to be well informed. What is it specifically that you want to research that you and I didn't get a chance to talk about today? Well, I don't know. I'll say, you know what? I'm curious. Are you actually going online because you want to see if you can get a better price? Yeah, I mean, I just want to make sure I'm getting the best deal possible. Then I'd say, hey, I totally appreciate that you're looking for a good deal. What exactly did you have in mind? And before they even realize it, we're negotiating to close. As opposed to take the brochure, call me when you're ready, which is what everybody's doing, and they're not closing sales. This, by using this, you will make more of this. You use S.O.S., you'll make more money, period. You just got to practice it. Because I'll get you there. I promise you, I'm going to get you there. By the end of Thursday morning's call, you'll have it. It's just a question of practice. And like anything else, this is a skill, right? If you want to stay sharp, you got to keep practicing it. So you can either, you can enter the dojo and come into my classes that I do, 30 minutes every week with other people outside of your sphere of influence, putting you under a lot of pressure, or you guys practice it amongst yourselves, which is the way that we used to do it. But no, you gotta be like, we do this, we gotta practice it. All right, you ready, Debbie? We're gonna read it. I'm just gonna read this one. We're not gonna do multiple objections yet. We'll get there. We've got to build the ladder. So Debbie, I want to go home and do some research.
I appreciate that you want to be well informed. What specifically is it that you want to research that we didn't talk about today?
One more time. I want to go home and do some research.
I appreciate that you want to be well informed. What specifically is it that you want to research that we didn't talk about today?
Awesome. One more, Debbie. I want to go home and do some research.
I appreciate that you want to be well informed. What specifically is it that you want to research that we didn't talk about today?
Nice job. Oh, your turn. I want to go home and do some research.
I appreciate that you want to be well informed. What specifically is it that you want to research that we didn't talk about today?
Nice. And again, notice that even Debbie earlier, like specifically can sometimes be a word that you get tongue. I don't know why. So you could say, hey, what is it? You could just skip specifically. You can take this. What is it that you want to research that we didn't talk about today?
Right.
It's still going to lead people to this part where it's like the I don't know. Or they're going to tell you, I'm going to go look at Trek, or at least you know what you're up against.
Right.
So that's the beauty of it, as opposed to, here's my business card. So Joe, I'm going to go home and do some research.
I appreciate that you want to be well informed. What is it that you want to research that we didn't talk about today?
Nice job, man. Good job. Hey, Pat, are you there?
I am.
All right. So I want to go home. How do you feel about this one? I don't know if you can read it, but because you're driving, so.
I pulled over.
Okay. So I want to go home and do some research, Pat.
I appreciate that you want to be well informed, Joe. I'm curious. What specifically is it that you want to research that we didn't talk about today?
Nice. I want to go home and do some research. I just want to go online and see what else is out there, Pat.
I appreciate that you want to be well informed, Joe. I'm curious, what specifically is it that you want to research that we did not cover today?
Nice. Rich Spizzato, you're up. I'll get you to unmute.
I am unmuted.
Yes, excellent. Read it back to me, man. I'm going home. I just want to go home and do a bit of research.
I can't read it because I'm driving, Joe, but I'll do my best. Hey, Joe, I appreciate that you want to do some research when you get home. What exactly are you looking for that we may not have covered?
Nice. That's great. Try that one again. And again, you're going to do it in your own words. It's great. I want to go home. You know what? I just want to go home and go online and see, do a bit of research.
That's great, Joe. What exactly is it that you're looking for that we might not have covered today?
Nice. So, Rich, you know what? I just want to go home and do a bit of research, man.
That's great, and I can appreciate that, Joe. What exactly is it that you're looking for that we might not have covered today?
Nice job. And again, does this make sense, guys, that you're going to get that person who's actually going to say, I don't know in this context? Like, they're just looking for a reason to get out. Because people are afraid to spend thousands of dollars. Like, even very wealthy people, like, all of a sudden it's like, holy shit, I'm about to spend $4,000 here. So I need to, right? You got your right brain that tells you they get emotionally charged and it's like, I love this bike and I want this. And then the left brain comes in and says, wait, logic, look at the numbers, figure this out. And when the look at the numbers piece comes into the left brain, it's, I want to go and see if I can find it cheaper. That's exactly what this objection is coming from. So it leads us to this third objection, which actually I put in as number 2. But this objection here, right here, what kind of deal can you give me? Okay? Debbie, we're going to start with you. You're going to hear this from the customer that we talked about. Right? What kind of deal can you give me is, and you guys can make a decision. Earlier, we talked about this. I'm just going to go back to this so you can see the screen here. We talked about the importance of blended margin. We won't have time today, but we're going to confirm what kind of deal you'll be able to give on the next call. At least for right now, you'll have the words ready, and you don't have to give anybody a deal, but you can still respond the same way. Hey, you know what? I totally appreciate that you're looking for a good deal. What exactly did you have in mind? I've got a group in the dojo right now. And if you don't know what a dojo is, in mixed martial arts or martial arts, wherever you go do your training is called a dojo. So in Asia, if you take karate or if you take judo, you walk into your training facility. It's actually called a dojo. Just for giggles, the background that I use when I'm doing this with some of my students, they love it. I give them this background, so it looks like I'm inside the training dojo, right? Anyways, you gotta have fun when you're training because otherwise it could get kind of boring. But the idea is when you practice and you go over it, you know the words. Then, and right now I've got a group of people that are in the dojo that we're doing this particular objection. See, when somebody says, "What kind of deal can you give me?" It's not so much an objection. It's an ask to buy question. Like they love it. They want it. They just want to see if they can get something out of you, and they're going to try to squeeze you for it. So using tone of voice, I can totally say the answer is 0 and just shift a couple of words. So I'll give you an example. So if somebody says, "Hey, Joe, what kind of deal can you give me?" Hey, listen, I totally appreciate that you're looking for a good deal. What exactly did you have in mind? Right? I'll say the exact same words, but now listen and even look in terms of how the reaction. Joe, your products, Joe, what kind of deal can you give me? I totally appreciate that you're looking for a good deal. What exactly did you have in mind? The second way, I made it clear that I'm ready to come and negotiate with you at the table. But the first way, if you have a close look, and I know some of you are driving, so be careful, but I can answer it, and I could be saying, this. And I can appreciate that you're looking for a great deal. What exactly do you have in mind? I'm telling you no with my head. I'm telling you there is no freaking deal. I'm still responding and I'm being polite. Right? So this takes practice. It's like people walking into your store and they're going to say to you, hey, Rich, can I deregulate these to make them go faster? And you can go, no. Because you can. I'm not going to tell you how because that's going to ruin your warranty. So, no. Like, so I'll nod yes, but I'm going to tell them no. And so, you know, there's no way I'm going to show people how to make a Pedego go faster. I want you to have your 5-year warranty. So let me jump back in here. Sorry, Rich. I can't. You're muted.
Sposato or Bastion?
So most times when people come in the store, especially if they do a test ride or they do a rental, is they don't ask what kind of deal can you. They always ask what the price is. And are you okay just giving them the price on the bike?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, if they're just saying, so if they go for a test ride and they don't know what the price is ahead of time, and they come back and they go, and I'll go, so what do you think? And they go, oh, I love it. And they say, how much is this? I'll go, that one that you're on is $39.95. And I will say it with absolute confidence, right? Tone of voice, right? 38% of the way that we communicate is tone and 7% is words. So that's almost half, 45% of the way that we communicate is just that. So if I come across as, I'm sorry that it's $39.95, and some people will actually say that, you know, how much is it? They'll come back, hey, what do you think? Oh, I love it, man. Wait, how much is this? And you go, well, it's $39.95. No, you got to go, hey, it's only $39.95. Like, I mean, it's a great deal.
Okay.
It is.
Yeah.
Remember, this comes back, we talked about this before. Back here is the power of belief. The belief of $39.95 being a great deal, or a Ridge Rider with the Connect seat post, different saddle, riser stem, different pedals, phone holder, light package, rack, panniers, and it's now $49.95. That is a smoking deal. And I do, I shit you not. I actually believe in that, and because I believe it, I know I can sell it. If you don't believe it, that's why we started with that call number 1 last week. It's what's your why, and you better believe it, because if you don't believe it, it comes across. People know that you're full of it. So yeah, my belief is I'm not going to hide my prices. I'm happy to tell you what our prices are, because it's great value. Because you're going to come to it anyway.
So I have a question. So we don't list our prices on our bikes. Do you agree with that or disagree with that? Do you think the bike should be?
I totally agree with it. Because it's a slight difference, but what you'll end up seeing is somebody will walk in the store, and if you go from lowest price to highest price, people will walk and they see the prices, and they'll turn around. They'll walk in and they'll $18.95, $20, whoa, and they'll go to. People will always go to the cheapest. They'll buy what's adequate. If the goal for us, and I agree with the tactic, by the way, if the goal is let's get them on bikes, butts on bikes, don't put the prices on them. Just get them on it.
Okay.
And if they ask, then I'll tell them. And I mean, and you could split test it. You could put some prices on the bikes and see what happens. Some stores don't. I personally, there's nothing to hide. You can have a small tag on the price of the bike. And some people will walk in and they'll be looking around and they'll look at the tag and they'll go, you want $3,000 for a bicycle? And it's like, hey, you know what? Thanks for letting me know how you feel. I'm curious, what exactly are you comparing it to? You're going to use S.O.S. So you can have the tag on it or not. You're going to bump it. These objections are common enough that this is why we need to be prepared and practice. So let's do this last one real quick before I let you guys go. So Debbie, we're going to start with you. With what, and I'm going to get you to unmute and just read it back. All right? I'll get you to unmute yourself. There we go. Hey, Debbie, what kind of deal can you give me?
I appreciate that you're looking for a good deal. What exactly do you have in mind?
Nice. One more time. Debbie, what kind of deal can you give me?
I appreciate that you're looking for a good deal. What exactly do you have in mind?
So now this comes in different disguises as well. Hey, Debbie, what's my price? I appreciate that you're looking for a good deal. What exactly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Debbie, what's my price?
I appreciate that you're looking for a good deal. What exactly do you have in mind, asshole?
Yeah. They're coming. They're coming. Hey, Joe.
But that's such like a guy thing. Like, what kind of a deal are you going to give me? Right? That's why I said that.
You're right. Or they'll do this. They'll say, they'll come and go, can you sharpen your pencil?
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard all this shit.
Right.
It's the same
That
thing.
was a sexist comment on the part of Deb. I don't appreciate that.
Rich, you know what? Here's the thing. In my experience, and correct me if I'm wrong, anybody who's in sales, and Joe, you've been in retail a long time as well. So I rarely will women ask or grind for the deal. It's mostly dudes that will ask.
Right. Yeah.
What's interesting in my experience, though, is he'll grind for the deal if the couple's together, and then who's the one who's pulling out the credit card to pay?
The woman.
Oftentimes, she's doing the finance at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah. So, Joe, what kind of deal can you give me?
I appreciate that you're looking for a good deal. What kind of deal do you have in mind?
All right. Joe, hey, man, listen, I'm curious, like, between us, what kind of deal can you give me?
I appreciate you're looking for a good deal. What kind of deal are you looking for?
All right. Rich Bastian, what kind of deal can you give me?
I appreciate that you're looking for a good deal, Joe. What exactly were you thinking about?
Nice. One more time. What kind of deal can you give me, Rich?
I appreciate that you're looking for a good deal, Joe. What exactly did you have in mind?
So keep in mind what you guys can all think about for next week's call, or Thursday's call, is how far of a deal would you go if you're going to give a deal at all? Most stores, by the way, are firm on the price of the bike.
We are.
Okay, so if you know that you're firm, we're just going to put here firm, which is great. Then the question becomes how far, what would you give away in accessories? And again, I have the number 300 here as the example. What would you give away in accessories? If it's $300 in accessories off of invoice, it's only costing you $150, right? And again, we're going to jump right into S.O.S on the next call. So we'll be playing this role play out a couple of times, because this is where people actually make mistakes. If people, you get the real grinder who says, hey, what kind of deal can you give me? And we say, hey, I appreciate you're looking for a good deal. What exactly do you have in mind? And they say, well, can you knock off $1,000? And again, remember, when emotions go up, intelligence goes down. So, Debbie turns around and says, $1,000? What are you doing, asshole? And then all of a sudden it's like, wait, right?
I would never really say that to anybody.
I'm playing with you, but that's the whole thing, right? But I've been in that position in my career where somebody was asking an outlandish deal, and it was insulting, and I ended up getting into it with them, and of course I never made the sale. So the goal is, hey, if I can practice this enough, I know what my hand I'm going to play, and I don't have to show them my hand. We're going to talk about that in the next call. Rich Pizzato, what kind of deal can you give me?
Joe, I appreciate you asking for a good deal. Well, Start that over, Joe. I'm trying to read. I don't know why I'm trying to read it, but go ahead.
Yeah, that was good. That was good, bro. That's great. But try it again. What kind of deal can you give me, Rich?
Hey, Joe, I appreciate that you're looking for a good deal, and thank you for asking. What exactly do you have in mind?
Nice. One more time. What kind of deal can you give me?
Joe, I appreciate you asking that question, and thank you for asking it. What exactly do you have in mind?
Good job. Good job. Pat, what kind of deal can you give me?
Hey, Joe, I appreciate that you're looking for a good deal. I'm curious, what exactly did you have in mind?
Nice. One more time. What kind of deal can you give me?
Hey, Joe, I appreciate that you're looking for a good deal. I'm curious, what exactly did you have in mind?
Good job. So, guys, what I want you to do over the next couple of days is just, I'll send this over to Rich. You guys could use this and practice them. We're going to get back on the call, and we're gonna work the flow chart. I'm going to show you exactly. I've already showed you exactly how it's going to go on the floor, so that you'll know. Like you're going to be clairvoyant. You're going to know where the deals are going to go, and you'll be able to close faster, more effectively, with higher blended margin. Does this all make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, it's step by step. We're just taking these little steps, but I promise you, you guys are going to be armies of one when this is over. You're going to crush it.
Excellent.
All right, guys. We'll see you on Thursday morning. Thank you. Bye-bye.